he gave an explanation as to why he created so many characters in during his Batman run. Is because when he said he started working on the Batman series, he was like on like one of the more popular books, and other creators would get the Joker and the Riddler, and
so like early on he was making like Harper Row, which I actually like Harper Row. I feel like he got off to
I like a lot of the characters he created.
But when he was on the main Batman book, when he could use anyone he wanted, he was still throwing like fucking punchline and like Ghostmaker.
Ghostmaker's good.
Ghostmaker's
okay.
It's a stupid name.
It is a dumb name.
He's okay as a character. I didn't particularly like him when he was introduced at the very least. And like, what's her name? Like Miracle Molly and like shit like that.
Yeah, that's a weird character that never went anywhere.
It just got overwhelming.
No, she became Miracle Molly became that Rebecca on Cyberpunk.
No, that didn't happen.
If that's a joke, I don't get it. But
it's a joke.
So it's our New Year's Eve show. We were going to do a top 3, but then the books just kind of got meh this week. There were some good, I don't want to say good books. There were important books. Action Comics 1030, I think is what it is. Super important book. And Timeless #1, 2022, sort of laying out what Marvel's going to do for the next 12 months. But, man, that Action Comics, Superman and John ain't got their secret identities are back. They ain't got, they're not out anymore, which was really fun.
How did they handle that? I didn't actually get a chance to read.
Have you been keeping up with that psychic dude who's been helping Lex Luthor?
No.
Well, there's a psychic dude who was helping out Lex Luthor. Superman actually recruited him to help him out at War World because he was such a powerful psychic, But Lex hooked them up into some super machine, and then the whole world just forgot who they were. And not only do they forget, it's like a psychic thing where it causes them pain if they begin to remember.
So it's not like Superman went around kissing everybody.
Right. But a lot of people were protected because Martian Manhunter had put some psychic blocks in some of the heroes, but the Kents and everybody were protected because of that bubble shield that they put over the farmhouse.
Okay, but so like Lex Luthor's plan, I don't know if that was his actual plan or not, but it was like all pros and no cons for Superman.
Well, Lex Luthor's plan was to say to Clark finally, okay, I agree the world does need a Superman, but it doesn't need a Superman. It needs a god. And then, Clark is like, what the fuck did you do, Lex? You know what I mean? And then he goes and takes him to jail for murdering the dude, the psychic, because he died in the process. So he's in jail right now, but there's a Mentallo on the way, or Metallo, whatever the fuck his name is.
There is a Mentallo and a Metallo.
Yes,
it could be a little tricky.
The Metallo, not the Mentallo. There's the Metallo is back. But it ended really good because, Clark was really worried, oh no, how's John going to take this? And John goes and is in Metropolis just hanging out in his alter ego, wearing a jacket, not as Superman, goes in and buys a coffee and they spell his name wrong on the coffee. They put an H in there. And he was kind of happy about it. He was kind of like, okay, I can make this work, Because
does his boyfriend still remember? Was he in the protective bubble thing?
As far as I know, Jay still remembers. They didn't really lean into it, but
so it is really all pros and no cons. Yeah.
Yeah, this is opening it up for the new Tom Taylor book, where if you remember early on in Tom Taylor's run, John was trying to go to school. Remember?
Yeah.
And he just couldn't.
That's how it started out. I remember.
Yeah, so it's really nice for it to come full circle, and now we have another good point, for the character to start. So yeah, it was pretty good. All right, it's just the top, our favorite shit of the year, y'all. That's all we're talking about. Let's do it.
All righty.
All right. All righty, daddy. Man, I got a long list of a lot of shit.
All right.
You're fucking hubris.
It's true. That's one of my favorite things of the year. Faux show. Yeah, we do this a little different too, y'all. We do this a little different. Happy New Year. Greetings, Geek. Welcome back, finally, after a long hiatus. I won't even get to talk about that, but Welcome back. It's another episode of This Geek and Comics Outright Geekery's Comic Book Show.
Shit Talk Show.
Homer Taylor, aka David. How's it going, y'all? Good holidays, good fun times, and
Yeah, it was
all that.
nice.
Had a pretty good
That's good.
Christmas. New Year's is rather uneventful, except for my neighbors were shooting off fireworks.
Oh, I know you love that.
Well, everyone's
love
neighbors
that.
were shooting out fireworks around
Yeah.
like 8 o'clock and everything.
Well,
Yeah,
they
even
did
we
like
had 'em
right at
here.
midnight, and it was like this unreal amount of fireworks. It was
Nice.
unbelievable.
Well, I hope they were at least pretty.
They were.
I had a lot of family over. They sort of got stuck here a little bit, with the.
Stuck with Gomer. Ugh.
I know.
Ah.
I wasn't entertaining anyone, but that's why I couldn't do the show. I just didn't have time. Yeah, Andy, man, I agree, bro. I agree. It was a kind of meh. But it was nice to have some time off. It was nice to just have some time to kick it.
Yeah,
and
it
do
was nice,
nothing,
like,
and-
friends coming to town for the holidays and all
yeah,
that.
dude.
Just-
And I mean, with all
It was
that
nice.
said, I mean, did you guys get anything or give anything that was really cool? My wife, her mother's name is Virginia, and she bought her father a shirt that said, "I'd rather be in Virginia." And that like
Oh.
won over the fucking Christmas, dude. Like
Ah.
everybody was just like, "Oh my god!" So, in terms of giving, that's probably the best thing I gave. It was fun.
Well, tawdry, but well done.
Oh yeah, very, very.
I got some like dice. I got the new Pokemon game and all that.
Ooh.
Fun.
I gave out a bunch. I gave my mom like a DVD collection for Francis the Talking Mule, which is like a favorite of hers.
Okay, all right, that's weird.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
It's a
That's
thing.
weird, but awesome. Dave, anything holiday-ish?
I got my mom had been dropping hints that she wanted to get some games for like the house when they have guests over.
Okay, that's fun.
So I got her this one called Colors and Hues,
Okay.
and the other one was Wombat Combat.
Yeah, I've seen that. A card game, right?
No, Wombat Combat's like a puzzle building game.
Oh, it's a tile puzzle.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've read about it, but obviously I was totally wrong. All right, well, let's get into it, gentlemen. I don't have a cool intro. I should have done a cool top best of the, dun 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 dun. But
It's not like we expect anything of you.
I know. No one. When I do anything, you're like, "Oh my god, you did something."
Yeah, I mean, it's a good position that you're in. Even the
Right.
slightest amount of like
There are
exertion on your part.
The expectations are so low. It's
Yeah.
kind of, helps me. But anyway, we do it a bit different. A lot of podcasts and shit will go, "Oh, what's your number 5?" And we'll just have a talk. But there's so much overlap and stuff with that
Yeah.
so often.
Yeah, let's each just do a number 1 and then just honorable mentions.
Yeah, we typically do. Andy chimed in that Color Hues is fun. Awesome. I'm going to check it out for sure. Yeah, so I do mine. It's loose. It's wide open. And let us know your opinions, and everything, chat. But I'm doing what we consider to be the best and then like just favorites, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Things like
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
and maybe if you want to throw in your worst, or something like that, just hey, whatever you want to do. We're gonna start at movies. It was just an okay year, in my opinion, for movies overall. Okay, both Marvel and DC, in my opinion, had sort of lackluster offerings. Okay, relatively speaking, not bad, just not worthy, in my opinion, of best of the year. Okay.
Oh no.
My worst movie of the year, Top Gun Maverick, easy. And just because of all the buzz it's getting, this movie was pure war propaganda. No amount of nostalgia or practical effects can change that. I understand why everybody loved it. I hate the reasons why
Well,
everybody.
how petty
loved
and contrarian of you, but I thought it
No,
was.
I just don't like the movie.
It's
the
not my
whole
top
time.
movie or anything, but I thought I enjoyed
Yeah.
it a lot. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and that's good.
It'll be
Yeah.
a cold day in hell when I grace the movie theaters to watch a Tom Cruise
right.
movie.
No shit.
I just don't like
So,
Tom
I
Cruise.
actually think I have. I have images for all of mine. I'm gonna search for images as you guys go. So.
Okay.
But I would say the best movie of the year for me, Prey. Best movie of the year. It's the Predator movie starring indigenous people and as
It
the
was
actors
actually
and the
pretty good.
characters.
Yeah, this
It
was really good.
dude. I go back to this movie all the time, just like I used to go back to the Arnold Schwarzenegger one. I would much rather watch this one. Andy bringing up something really good. Yes, there were some amazing horror movies this year. Yeah, Smile and Black Phone. Nope. Everyone's forgetting about Nope.
No,
in the
I
hor-
was
in the
gonna
horror
bring up
movie
Nope.
discussion.
I was gonna bring it up.
It was fantastic, but X Pearl, oh my gosh, Barbarian drove me fucking nuts, dude. It was such a good horror movie. But yeah, I'm glad you mentioned those because we are definitely not going to mention a lot of horror movies, on this.
Well,
I wasn't
Prey,
gonna
I think counts as a horror movie, but it's the least horror of the horror movies that were mentioned here.
I don't consider Nope to be a horror movie, but
Nope is definitely a horror movie.
It's for sure a horror movie.
But it seems it's more along the lines of Jaws. Is how I could put it. And I don't consider Jaws.
Well, Jaws is a horror movie too. It's a monster
I think that what makes
movie.
Nope a horror movie and what makes Jaws not a horror movie is that Jaws is a defined threat. They spend half the movie not knowing what the hell they're dealing with.
But they know there's a monster.
Make it existentially horrifying. Yeah.
They know there's something. They think it's aliens.
At least with a shark, you know what a shark is. It's a big, dangerous shark, but you don't have to spend half the movie in existential terror of what is this? What's going on? It's perfectly straightforward what's going on.
Right.
They spent most of the problem in the movie arises from the mayor being an idiot. With Nope, they have to spend all their time just grappling what it is they're dealing with.
Well, there are other people and I think it's still a good comparison, Nope and Jaws, because there are idiots in Nope, and they're the worst fucking kind of idiots.
And that is kind of the point that all of Jordan Peele's movies, there's what there's about, and then there's what it's about.
Yes.
And here, this is making a lot of insightful commentary on. Internet celebrity, on, just wanting to be seen and liked in every second of your life and everything like that.
Yeah, for sure.
What's the new draw? What's the new 5 minutes of fame going to be looking towards this week?
Yeah. But let's get back to my pick. But I am glad you brought that up, Andy, because we would not have gotten onto horror movies. I don't know if you guys watched X or Barbarian or Pearl or any of the couple that Andy mentioned. Black Phone was fucking amazing. It was so much fun. What was the other one that he mentioned? Smile. I have yet to see Smile, but it is on my list.
I don't really go in for horror movies. So
I know.
I don't.
My wife is a huge horror movie buff. I watch them because of her, and I'm always just in the background cowering. Sometimes if it's 7, 8 o'clock, depending on when we're planning on going to bed, we can't do a horror movie. Because if I watch one too close to bedtime, I'll have terrible nightmares. I just will. But back to Prey, I just thought it was a really good Predator movie. But now that it's a good movie.
It is. It's a good movie.
It was so inclusive. It felt so right for them to do a movie like this. Every step of the way, it felt like, man, this just works so damn well.
It does. It's not so stuck on being pandering to people who enjoyed the first movie. It does enough to stand on its own, but it's still very reverential, right, to the first movie, right? It looked at what the first movie did right and let's do that, but this way.
Yeah, dude. It kept to, I don't want to say lore. It almost kept to the technology and the techniques that were created or established in that first movie. The things that both, Dutch, Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, and the Predator did in that first original movie. And the second one, for that matter, which is, really underrated as far as
it's
cool movies go. But it took the things that were established in those movies and then brought them into this and did it so well. Yeah, for sure. Dave, you see Prey? Anything?
I did see Prey. I really enjoyed it. I do think it was kind of underserved because it was, released directly to streaming instead of theaters. I would have loved to see this in the big
This would have done really well in theaters. So I think
it would have done well in theaters.
I think it would have been a missed opportunity. It would have had a wider audience at least.
But I believe they are talking about a sequel to it. So
there has been a sequel mentioned. There's nothing confirmed yet as far as I know. But
this is such low-hanging fruit, Let's have the Predator versus Samurai. Let's have the Predator versus I don't know, medieval knights or some shit. There's so much you could do.
Yeah, it opens a lot of them up. But it would be nice if there was a future Predator with in
with Space Marine, set in the Aliens universe. That just makes sense.
I mean, you want the whole thing is you want the humans to be a real underdog, though. So you don't want to necessarily give humans futuristic technology.
I kind of feel that the humans in the aliens universe are pretty much underdogs when they go up against the aliens, the xenomorphs.
If they had like
I mean,
future
you're right.
technology, that
You're right.
whatever, I'm not buying into this whole like it's the same thing as the Aliens franchise crap that you guys are going with. But
No, it is.
I know that
in
there was a
way,
xenomorph
it's-
skull in that one
yeah.
Predator movie, but I think that was
Yeah.
just like an Easter egg. I don't read too much into that.
Well, they're definitely established because Alien versus Predator is still canon to the whole thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, but that's a really
And-
dumb movie, and I don't think that this movie acknowledges that
I
one.
actually dig that in the pyramid.
It's
I
fun,
love
but
that.
it's
it's
dumb.
so fun. That's the word for it. It's so fun. And
But
I
this
think
is
in
popcorn.
good. That's
but I
what
think-
gets back to this movie, though. This isn't
Sure.
just fun. It is fun,
Exactly,
but it's also good.
Yes,
you know?
exactly. And I think they could do a good movie with like Space Marines going up against the Predators. But you're right, Taylor. There is sort of a line that has to be drawn there where it does come back to you have to use sort of medieval, less sophisticated technology in order to take out a predator.
Yeah, like half the fun of these movies is it's such a mismatch between our
Yes.
POV character and like this futuristic like
Exactly.
super soldier, you know?
Yeah, for sure, dude, for sure. I think they could still do it, but yeah, you're right. So we'll get back to everybody's honorable mentions after we've all given our favorite. So Taylor,
My favorite, and I think this was what Dave said his favorite was too, is Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I did have a
Yes.
chance to watch this. So you guys both have the same favorite. Nice.
Yes, because this movie
Nice.
was just absolute perfection in cinema.
Yeah, this is like one of those movies where it's like this is like what you can do with a movie, you know?
Yeah.
It's visual storytelling, it's so well paced, it's so well acted, it's goofy, it's heartfelt, it's unnerving, it's life affirming. It runs such a wide range, which is appropriate for a movie that is about everything. you know?
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
Uh,
it's got
go
a lot
ahead,
of heart
Dave.
in it too.
it does.
I mean,
It does. Yeah, I mean, fucking Waymond, like he is like one of my favorite characters from any movie I can remember in like the last decade, you know?
Yeah.
He is such a, and it's I wish I could remember his name right now, but it was the kid who played Short Round all grown up, and he is fucking amazing.
Yeah,
like him
he is-
kicking
yes.
ass with that fanny pack,
Yeah.
and him being like genuinely such a inspirational character. You know, he's this like browbeaten, mild-mannered guy, but when he talks about, this is how I fight. I
Yeah.
fight by not giving up. I fight by keeping that positive outlook. That doesn't make me an idiot. It doesn't make me weak. It's the hardest thing in the world to maintain a positive outlook, and that's
Yeah.
how
Which
you
is-
win.
which is compounded by the fact that he's crossing other realities to do this too. So it
Right.
it's crazy. It is a insanely fun movie just to watch.
Michelle
Yeah.
Yeoh is like a tour de force in this movie. She
Yeah,
runs.
let me
yeah.
comment on that because I mean everything always gets credit for here, especially Michelle Yeoh, but everyone in the movie, all of the actors in the movie, everyone, even down to what's her name, Scream Queen herself, fucking
Jodie
from the Halloween, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
I mean, she's brilliant in this.
She's
She's
amazing in
fucking
this.
Amazing in this, dude. But that's the range that all of the actors that are in this have. And it's surprising because some of the actors in this, you don't expect them to have the range to be able to play multiple versions of themselves. And they pull it off stunningly, like
Yeah.
so beautifully.
I mean, this works so well as an action movie. It works so
Yeah.
well as like, an eldritch horror movie in a lot of
Right.
ways.
Right.
It works works like a sci-fi movie.
A
Yeah.
superhero movie.
Like a
it
living
works.
movie.
That's
as
work as a superhero movie, as a
movie.
kung fu movie, as
Yeah.
just
Yes.
Yeah.
as a comedy in a lot of ways, because some of the
Yeah.
things they get into are just utterly ridiculous. Like this is a movie
I mean,
where
that
like
kind of saves the day.
Yeah.
Accepting the utter ridiculousness of it all is basically
Yeah, I
what
mean-
saves the day. in
okay,
this
like
movie.
the scene that probably sticks in my head the most is that dude going over the top of the desk to like butt slam onto the butt plug.
Wow,
And
I was
what a sentence that
Wow.
sounds like. You know?
when you started that sentence, I was not expecting it to end the way it did.
It happened. That was a thing that
expected
happened
to
in
be
this
mentioned
movie.
at some point.
Yeah.
I thought I would be the one mentioning that.
I mean,
but-
Rakakuni. I mean,
Rakakuni.
when we first see him, what's the villain's name? Jumbo.
Joy, Joku.
It's
yeah.
Joy, but I'm trying to remember what like her like
Yeah,
alias
I think
was.
it's Joyku. something like that. It was a
Jujumon.
language that is not native to me, so I was
But
having
yeah,
a little
her
bit of trouble
introduction
there.
sequence where she is like smacking people with dildos and like making them
yeah.
like explode into like confetti and shit like
Yeah,
that.
like blowing their
Yeah.
minds, and it's literal confetti.
Like
When
it's
she shows up in
ridiculous,
the
but
other
it's also
reality.
terrifying because like it
Yeah.
really illustrates that like not only can I just do whatever I want, but I'm just going to be silly about it as I do so.
I think it's
you
like Jojo Jubaki or something like that.
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
that
that,
sounds
yeah.
right. Yeah. I got no beef with this movie. The one thing I would say about it in the context of everything is this movie is not as accessible as the internet makes it out to seem. There is a wide portion of a potential audience that just is it's just there's so many things that they are just not going to get into. This movie could only be made by a studio like A24. I'm very happy that they did it, but I'm just saying that's the only takeaway, but negative takeaway I would have for it is
That's not a knock on the movie
it's
itself.
not a knock
though.
on the movie at all. It's a knock on the audience. It's a knock on the
Maybe.
audience. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this movie is a must see. I would say, like, if you
it
can get your
is.
hands on it, it's
It's
just
available
amazing.
on Showtime right now. If you have Amazon Prime, Showtime is $2 a month for the first 2 months. There's absolutely no reason to not watch this movie because they have some TV on there that made my list in the past 2 days. So, awesome. So that was Dave and Taylor's best movie of the year. Some of my favorites, Hustle. I don't know if you guys watch Hustle. This is a movie that I know I will go back to over and over and over again. It's Adam Sandler doing an NBA movie. There are actual NBA, stars in there. And it's kind of like Rocky, in a way. I adored it so much. But other honorable mentions, the Weird Al Yankovic. You guys chime in. Just chime in if you
that was a really good one. I mean, not only was that just funny, but also it's such a perfect Al Yankovic thing to do,
Yeah. It was meta.
Let's make
almost.
a spoof of like the Prestige bio movie,
Yeah.
But
Glass Onion was amazing.
Glass Onion was really good. Glass Onion was a lot of fun. This is my other honorable mention. They do which is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. They both suffer from not being quite as good as the original outing, but they're still both really damn good movies.
With Black Panther.
Yeah, with Black Panther, like the circumstances around this movie are inescapable, but it is acted extremely well across the board, and they used it as an opportunity to tell a really compelling story about grief and loss and trying to move past it, or in Shuri's case, almost getting stuck in it,
Right.
But yeah, this was an amazing movie. It was hands down the best MCU flick to come out this year.
Yeah, how many did we only had 2? I think the only other one was
also Thor.
No, we had
Love
Thor,
and
Love and Thunder.
Oh my gosh, I forgot all about Thor, Love and Thunder.
Well, that's all you need to say.
I forgot all about that.
I like Thor, Love and Thunder, but it doesn't really stick in your head very well,
No,
it felt like it was retreading a lot of the stuff Ragnarok did, which, Ragnarok was fun and this was fun. And
they fucked up Gore too. As good of a job as Christian Bale did in that role, it wasn't Gore. They kind of wasted both Gore and Christian Bale.
Christian Bale did a great job, and the Gore character was a lot of fun.
Feel like Gore.
I thought that the character was well done, but it could never have lived up to the character from Jason Aaron's run in the comics.
Oh no, I agree with that one.
So that for all of us who are comic readers ourselves, that does. God, that sounds like such a shitty thing to say.
It really
does. If you read the comics,
it's not a gatekeeping thing to say. We're just
saying, I fucking hate it when people are like that. But it is true in this case that this was a character that could never have lived up to the way it was presented in the comics. This is not like Spider-Man, where there's like a billion different stories about Spider-Man.
Yeah.
There is like one collection of stories about Gore.
Story.
So there's a very apt comparison to be made this time.
Yeah.
But anyway,
go ahead.
Multiverse of Madness suffers from being the other multiverse movie to come out at the exact same time as Everything Everywhere All at Once. But
it kind of Multiverse of Madness was good, but I kind of feel in presentation of a multiverse, it was kind of overshadowed.
It was in a lot of ways, which is weird for like an MCU movie to be the one that gets overshadowed, at least in terms of like
MCU is sort of leaning in slowly to the multiverse.
Well, in terms of money, this destroyed Everything.
Oh well, it's a wider release, like I said.
It
A24 is a small, prestige sort of studio.
But Scarlet Witch worked really well as like a horror movie.
And how about the spoiler? It was almost a spoiler that with the promotion, everyone talks shit on MCU's promotion. This is one thing I will say about Multiverse of Madness. Going into this, I didn't think the Scarlet Witch was going to be the bad guy.
They did not make it look
No.
that way. Yeah.
I thought it was going to be another Doctor Strange was going to be the bad guy.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah.
Gonna,
Although
like,
that does point to how like people who were upset that like we go from WandaVision to this and it was like a pretty abrupt change for Wanda's character. I get that complaint. I absolutely
I don't know if I
get that.
do. I don't know if I do. I think that sort of takes away the trauma, you know. Now, a bit more story could have helped, but I think it's okay to take the events of what happened in WandaVision, understand what caused her to be traumatic or traumatized in WandaVision to begin with, and then see how that would layer onto her. You know?
But the last episode of WandaVision was about the acceptance stage of the 5 stages of grief, and then they
you're
just
not wrong.
immediately reneged on that, you know?
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Some other ones that I'll call out: Bullet Train.
Bullet Train was a lot of fun. This was
I haven't
like one of the
seen
more
that.
fun movies. I would
Oh, dude,
definitely
you should
recommend
check
it.
this out,
This is
Dave.
a real hoot. This and Violent Night are kind of like both trying to like fight for the same position in my head because they're both like big dumb stupid fun. But like not when I say big dumb stupid fun, I don't mean that the plots are like inane or but like this is a very well crafted kind of mousetrap machine like the
it
board
really
game
is. I mean, the
Yeah.
plot is not as I mean, if you really get into it, the plot isn't as detailed. The overarching story isn't as detailed. It's just the way the story is presented.
Yeah.
It's not a mystery, but by the end of it, you're like, oh, okay, there kind
Yeah,
of was
like,
a mystery.
all the
Why are
pieces
all these
coming
fuckers
together,
together? Yeah. It kind of hides the mystery from you, reveals at the end.
Yeah,
that-
you get to the end and like you get a big reveal to a mystery you didn't know you were solving.
Exactly, dude. And then you want to watch it again immediately.
Yeah, this I definitely recommend this one, Dave. It was a lot of fun, and like I mentioned a second ago, Violent Night. They took a absurd concept, ran with it, and it was amazing. It's one of my favorite Christmas movies that I've seen in a really long time, honestly.
Yeah. Dave, any other mentions?
Well, we've already discussed Nope, so
that's the only other one you had.
I only saw the Marvel movies this year, Nope, and Everything Everywhere All at Once in theaters.
I'll give like a kind of a meh mention to the Batman, which I enjoyed, but
I didn't. It was just okay.
I felt every minute of that 3-hour runtime. Like a lot of my favorite movies ever are like super long, and I'm like, how dare you suggest cutting anything out of Lord of the Rings or out of like Avengers Endgame? But this, I can see what you could have cut.
Yeah. A couple of other honorable mentions. Emily the Criminal with Aubrey Plaza was just amazing. It's just a drama about a girl named Emily who is a criminal. Literally, that's what it's about. It's very good. A big shout out to Chippendales Rescue Rangers.
Was that this year? I thought that was last year.
This year.
It was early this year.
Very early this year. This is like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, this was like a cameo extravaganza. It was a bit of an Easter egg hunt, but it was pretty fun for what it was. I enjoyed it.
My last shout out, I don't even have a picture for it. It's called RRR. It's on Netflix. It's an Indian movie.
Man, I keep meaning to watch it.
Oh my god!
Oh,
I hear it's like the shit. Yeah,
it is long. It is boring, but holy fuck, it's awesome.
Like
I mean, that's the best way to describe it. It's
like
long.
From the clips I've seen, like dude with stick versus crowd, and like
it's badass.
Is this the
guy with chains versus tiger?
Is this the one where these like two guys swing off a bridge to save a kid?
That's exactly what it. That's a scene in it. Yeah, it's about a bromance mixed in with sort of like mistaken identity in a way, but it's also big colonialism themes. Like the British are all terrible in this, and I love it.
But as one might expect from an Indian movie.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, Brandon chiming in. Brandon Woods, thanks for hanging out, buddy. Happy New Year to you too, for sure. All right, so yeah, that's it on movies. TV. All right, I think it was a banner fucking year for TV. We are
TV. We are spoiled for choices.
We are in a restaurant. We can't possibly name everything. I think the thing I hated most this year about TV was hate watching.
A lot of people seem to do that, yeah.
The Rings of Power, She-Hulk, even Andor, which is, I'll spoil it now, the best thing on TV, according to me, this year. But it's just unending and it's toxic. I understand if you don't like something, not everything is made for you. It doesn't have to be made for you. Just because you love Star Wars doesn't mean every Star Wars thing is something that's made for you.
Yeah,
Just
I
'cause
mean
you
the
love the
entitlement
MCU,
of like,
it's weird to
I'm
me,
not the
man.
core audience for this, and I'm taking umbrage with it.
And I think again, and you said this earlier, it feels elitist. As comic fans, we understand that there are some Marvel comics that just aren't made for us. There are
Yeah.
some Star Wars comics that are not made for us. But I will say my favorite thing from this year was how dope Star Trek was all around. For 6 months, every single week, Paramount Plus had a new episode.
Yeah.
So many shows.
What a time to be a Star Trek fan.
I mean, it really is. Strange New Worlds doing it old school. Picard doing chaos with old school nostalgia. Disco saving the universe with fucking love, dude. And it worked.
Yeah.
Animation was so good. It was just all so good. The fact that we didn't have a movie and we were supposed to did not ruin it. You know, we were supposed to get Star Trek 4 with the Chris Pine, and
I mean,
we were supposed to get that this year.
I have always maintained that Star Trek works better as a TV show than it does in the movies. Not to say that
Agreed.
there's not several of the movies that I do genuinely enjoy.
I love all the movies, but you're right. Agreed.
Yeah,
100%.
even like the good ones, like your Wrath of Khan,
yeah,
your like
Generations,
Undiscovered
we're gonna talk
Country,
about that,
things like
Andy.
that. Like even those do not hold a candle to the best episodes.
Yeah, for sure. And the comics ramping up at IDW only helped that. So those are my favorites. But let's say it. My favorite TV of this year was by far, nothing could even come close in my mind, Andor.
It's hard to argue against that.
This is the birth of a rebellion, and it was done so well. The only critique to this is it was slow. No fucking shit. It's supposed to be slow.
Yeah.
Okay. It's supposed to let you know who these characters are, where they're at in their lives,
like
all of the different angles to them. It's like
this show was such a masterclass in
man.
like lighting the fuse of a powder keg and watching it slowly trail over to like the the barrel and then just watching this huge explosion at the end.
Yes.
And they did that at least 3 times over the course of this series.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, and I love there's a moment in this series that is just a genius moment and it makes it worthy for, at least in my opinion, for all the awards, where there's a couple of them, but
yeah, I mean, every time this thing was like, oh man, I don't know how they're going to top that with the show keep going. Like when they did the heist, when they broke out from prison, they kept finding a way to top themselves, and it was amazing.
Yeah, like Andor, Cassian is just kicking it. He finished the heist. He's got some money. He's laying low, and then he gets arrested on a bogus chumped up charge for doing nothing.
Yeah,
for just walking,
doing nothing. This
looking over his shoulder.
This did a great job demonstrating, right, that like, yes, the Empire is that bad. The Empire will take and take and take, and it will never stop. And so, someone like Cassian Andor is born because
But again,
there's no other choice.
But again, and let me stop you there, and not really stop you there, but let me add to your comment, because this show went away from Star Wars. Star Wars black and white for the most part. This lives in a gray area because would the Empire have cracked down so hard as to see Andor get arrested on some vacation planet if Andor had not done what he had done during the heist?
Maybe not, but that doesn't change the fact that he wasn't doing anything,
But for sure. I'm just saying how this show piles on the events to show you how rebellions aren't just, there's a rebellion all of a sudden. No.
Yeah.
And also in a way where the people who are at the beginning of the rebellion, they have to sort of antagonize.
Yeah, I mean, that's something I wanted to dwell on for a sec, which is like, it does not shy away from the unsavory things that our heroes are having to do. Like watching the crew have to kidnap that family, terrorize a bunch of people, including a child who, he's a child of the Empire or whatever, but he's still a kid.
Exactly.
But yeah, they are taking hostages. They are getting people killed. I can't remember Skarsgård's character's name. Lucan?
Yeah, I think it's Lucan. Yeah.
Lucian.
But just an amazing character.
Yeah, he was an amazing character. He was one of the best characters from anything I saw this year. And yeah, all the sacrifices he is making for the greater good,
Oh, and the way that he plays almost 2 different characters. Oh, he does.
He does. More than 2, really.
Yeah, and the way the show presented that to us was just amazing to me, dude.
Yeah.
Just so well done, just masterful. In my opinion, the best thing Star Wars has ever done. Ever.
That is hard to argue
Comics,
against.
TV,
I mean,
movies, ever.
so much
I
is
was glued to the fucking screen. I could not wait to see what happened
this
next.
new era of Star Wars. We have so many like Rogue One and Andor are good in a different way than like Mandalorian is good. So I don't know like if I can really say that, especially because it's so recent in my mind. I want it to percolate a bit
And it's
before I'll say that.
diverse. Like
It is, yeah.
if we're taking Star Wars and putting it in a Western, dude, The Mandalorian is the best thing ever. But
Yeah.
if I'm saying, but how about the rebellion, the way the rebellion, started up, look at that. But then people could say, well, it ain't about that. It's about the Jedi and the Sith. And they're right too.
Yeah.
It's the
Like-
best thing about Star Wars. dude,
Yeah.
how
Layers upon
diverse it is.
layers upon layers.
It's layers on layers on layers. It's
Yeah,
done.
this was
It's done.
truly an excellent show. Even if you don't give a shit about Star Wars, this is
Yeah.
still an excellent show. There were
Oh,
times
for
where I
sure.
would be like frustrated with like, oh, okay, we're going over the B plot again. But by the end of it, I'm like, man, I was such a fool. This all came together so beautifully.
Because that's
at
the
the
thing
end.
about it. The B plot to me was Mon Mothma doing her thing with
They're going over to
folks.
Mon Mothma, going
loved
over to
that.
going over to Cyril.
That
Like
felt like Game of Thrones, like high drama and
Yeah.
fucking, political.
it really paid off by the end
intrigue,
for sure.
dude. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. All right, T.
I really part of me wanted to say Andor, and I easily could have, but I'm actually going to go with Moon Knight instead.
Good choice.
Moon Knight was such a amazing show. It was such a powerhouse performance from Oscar Isaac playing ultimately 3 different characters and having them all play off of each other. It had a lot of great action. It really did a great job setting up in its first episode the whole what the hell is going on, and the way that they presented him having dissociative personality disorder,
Exactly.
and
That's
them
my
handling
big
it
takeaway
very
from this show.
tactfully as well.
Yeah. That's my big takeaway from the show is how well it dealt with and respectfully it dealt with
Yeah.
character who is derived from having a mental illness, and it's like his mental illness wasn't really a disability.
It was just
Up
part
to
of what
the-
he had. Yeah.
Well, up to the point where he was able to actually learn about it and live with it.
Yeah.
It was like the character Moon Knight as a hero was, yes, having this journey, overcoming this monkey on his back, basically, who is the Khonshu, whatever, the god.
Yeah.
But the character Moon Knight, the alter ego, and I don't even know who to call him. It's like 4 different people, but he was also overcoming this monkey on his back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just the way they played that off was, absolute fucking genius. Fucking genius, dude. Amazing. Just amazing.
Yeah, and then Ethan Hawke was really good in his turn as the
I
villain.
forgot he was
and
even in this.
yeah, Scarlet
Wow.
Scarab, like especially the moment where she shows up like all superheroed out and everything. Like that was a real powerhouse moment.
Yeah.
The only thing that bothered me was in the finale where they kind of just cut away to where Jake took over, but we didn't get to see any of it. It's like, oh well, I guess the fight's over now.
Yeah,
but even
they would
then,
say,
right? That was
there's
still
a fight coming. There's a fight coming.
Yeah.
I thought that was sort of unique.
It was
and-
clever. I will say that it was a clever way to handle it, and it was a good way to set up the stinger at the end. And hey, maybe we'll get a flashback next season of Jake kicking their asses.
Yeah.
maybe, but I think it means more that it sort of jarred the audience in the same way that the character himself was.
Yeah,
jarred,
that was such a great moment when both Mark and Steven realized that they are not alone in there.
Right.
That there's more than just the 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
that whole
with this-
ship with the
Oh yeah,
the
the
land
ship.
of the
That's
dead.
where I was gonna go.
Yeah.
When they're in the hospital and they meet each other, dude. That's literally, like you said earlier, Taylor. Oscar Isaac playing 2 different characters, and you believe it. You don't even. By that time in the show, by the time they're in the hospital together, on that ghost ship or what the fuck ever, you believe that these are 2 different guys. That's how well Oscar Isaac did playing the character.
Yeah.
Just amazing acting and good story. And I want to see more Moon Knight. No, I don't want to see Midnight Suns or any bullshit like that. I just want to see
Yeah,
more
I mean, in a year where there was a lot of MCU shows that came out, and I did
Yeah,
genuinely
there were.
like every one of the TV shows
Yeah.
that came out. This stands above them all. I liked Miss Marvel, I liked She-Hulk, but Moon Knight definitely stole the show this year. For me.
The specials this year weren't enough, even though I thought both specials actually.
Oh, I love them both. I mean, they're both. Werewolf by Night was perfect for Halloween, and Guardians of the Galaxy was like a perfect little Christmas thing.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Dave. Favorite TV.
After a little thinking, I did kind of switch it up from what I told you last time. I'm going to go with Peacemaker.
Okay, good one.
That was a good one. I didn't get to watch all the way through, but what I did see, I liked a lot.
It was just like nonstop, stupid, dumb fun from beginning to end. And John Cena just makes that character click.
Well, I heard it had some heart to it too. Honestly, I haven't seen a single.
Well, yeah, I mean, it had James Gunn's fingerprints all over it, from what I understand, where it was like silly, raunchy, but also really endearing.
Yeah, I mean, and I hate to make it sound this way, but one of the most touching moments is when Peacemaker cannot kill a child, so Vigilante steps in and shoots the kids, and I'm just like, that's so awful, but so thoughtful at the same time. It's
right.
It is being bad to a degree that it's almost like good bad. We're not the good guys, we're not the bad guys, but today we're going to save the world. Kind of things.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just the worst individuals you could cobble together into a team, and they work.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's definitely on my list to catch.
And the opening sequence is so great.
Oh, the dance number at the beginning.
The dance number is just wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Excellent choice. Yeah, it's definitely on my list. There's so much, and I did watch so much. The best thing this year was Andor. My favorite thing was a show called Lego Masters. I'm sorry.
Lego Masters is a hoot.
Oh my God. See any of this. It's so fucking good.
I feel like it'd be right up your alley, Dave. I think you'd enjoy it.
It's a reality show. And what do? They hang out and they have teams build Lego shit. And then they have judges come out and judge them. And it's fucking awesome. I'm sorry. I can't get enough. They did a special too, like a Christmas sort of special.
Yeah.
It was very good. Andy chiming in that he didn't like Wednesday and he'll leave it there. Probably best because I adored Wednesday. I thought it was fucking great.
Wednesday was going to be my honorable mentions.
Yeah, I haven't seen Ghost either, but I'm adding it to the list, Andy. Thank you. Yeah, more honorable mentions, dude. Abbott Elementary, The Bear, Rings of Power, Only Murders in the Building. Reservation Dogs had me crying at least 3 different episodes. Stranger Things was fucking this year.
Yeah.
There was a show on HBO called Station 11 that everybody here will probably fucking hate, but I adored it so much. It's like a post-apocalyptic sort of thing. It felt like Last of Us 0.5. You know what I mean? It was so good. But Sandman, we need to talk about Sandman.
Sandman
was really good.
Sandman was fucking great. Winning Time, the show about the Los Angeles Lakers dynasty on HBO, was fucking incredible. I loved it.
We really were lousy with great TV this year.
There's a biopic on Showtime called George and Tammy about George Jones and Tammy Wynette that is fucking excellent. Jessica Chastain plays Tammy Wynette, and she's going to win awards for this. She was amazing in this. Michael Shannon, who plays Zod in Man of Steel, played George Jones. Not as good. Still good. But, man, Jessica Chastain just steals the fucking show. It's so damn good.
I wanted to mention
anything else, gentlemen?
I wanted to mention the second 10 episodes of Masters of the Universe Revelations.
Nice. Good call out.
And I'd also like to mention the Critical Role Vox Machina animated series that came out earlier this year
on Amazon, I think.
I forgot that was this year.
Yeah, that was this year. Yeah, I'm not into any of that shit, but good call outs because I know people are watching that shit. I know people are checking it out. Taylor, any TV you want to mention that we haven't already touched on?
I feel like we've touched on just about everything that I bring up.
We've just touched on and there is so much.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a big category.
It's a glut of fucking shit, man. We didn't even mention Game of Thrones. That's on everybody's top list. Anyway, moving on to the main event, comics. Solid year for comics. Not too bad. The big news I'm left with at the end of 22 is where the fuck G.I. Joe and Transformers going to end up. This is a huge deal for me.
And there's no news on it yet.
There's no news.
Yeah, and-
January. Go ahead, Taylor.
Well, just saying, you got to assume that when they do finally make the announcement, you still got to wait quite a few months before they'll actually be printed, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, they usually go to solicit 3 months in advance. So January will be the first month in, I don't remember, maybe when I was a little boy, where there weren't new Transformers and G.I. Joe comics. It's very weird. It's very weird. I think the thing I hated most this year was the Axe event. But more, I think we really felt it this year. Hickman not being on the X-Men team. You know, that's not to say the X-Men books were bad, but the quality on
My top book this year was an X book.
Oh,
but
mine
yeah.
too. Mine too.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
You do miss the
Cohesive.
you can feel the loosening of his grip.
Yes.
You know, on what was going on.
Yeah, and let's not fucking just have a light hand on this. Marauders became shit. New Mutants became fucking shit.
Yeah, when they switch over to the new creative team.
There have been some problems with the X books, dude.
That being said, that New Mutants with the previous creative team, that was some of the best shit they've had in a while.
It was the Rod Rice team with who the hell was it?
V.
What's
Ayala.
her name? V. Ayala. Yeah. Andy chiming in saying that IDW's had some great stuff this year. Yeah, way too much to list, but they have really come out of the woodwork. I have to say my favorite thing this year that is not on any of my lists was Jeff Lemire. He finished May's book and Primordial.
If we were doing like Writer of the Year, it would probably be Jeff Lemire. But then it could be Jeff Lemire like every year. You know,
it really could. You know,
he's
it really
such
could.
a prolific writer.
Yeah.
You know?
Bone Orchard Mythos. I mean, and honestly, I'm not even sure that Jeff Lemire was the best writer of the year, because Chip Zdarsky is doing Daredevil, Batman. He had Public Domain. He kept his Stillwater going. I mean, that dude is doing major fucking incredible work.
He is, yeah.
And I think him being on the Batman book is kind of, taken away from it a little bit. But anyway, my favorite book of the year, X-Men.
Mine too. Yeah.
So easy. Al Ewing.
I almost felt myself not wanting to do X-Men Red because it's so similar to Sword, which I think was one of my picks before.
Right. And
it's so damn good.
It's an obvious choice. It's so good. It's about the politics on Mars dealing with, I mean, it's really quintessential Marvel stuff. It's Nick Fury sort of stuff. It's high concept sort of things being brought down and delivered via the characters. It's just so well done, and there's not really much else I can say about it except it's the flagship book. People keep talking about X-Men's the flagship book. It's not.
Well, I mean,
they talk about Immortal being the X-Men book. I'm sorry, it's definitely not.
If you're looking into like all this new status quo with like Krakoa and all that, these other, Araco and all these other things, like that is happening in this X-Men Red book, and also it's, at least other than probably the Guardians book, it's doing the most with like the cosmic corners of the Marvel.
I don't think there is a Guardians book right now.
There was at one point in this year, I know.
Yeah.
But, well, whatever.
Yeah, especially since the FF have come home.
I mean, this book had to take the top spot. Like, Fisher King, like, just shows up few and far between. He's my favorite new character this year.
Yeah.
That
amazing
dude is awesome.
Amazing
he defeated the undefeatable Iska the Unbeaten, by making her, forcing her to feel remorse for her actions, to feel loss.
Well done.
But, this book is just, every issue, it seems, you get one of those, oh shit, like mic drop moments. Like whether it's like, Sunspot sitting on the throne, or like Vulcan finally, breaking out of his shell.
Yeah.
Magneto's death scene,
and that's recent.
Yeah.
Another angle to why this book is so good. It has been bogged down in every fucking X-Men event and never skipped.
It doesn't miss a step. It has been so inextricably tied in with Axe. It has been inextricably tied in with Ten of Swords back when it was Sword. But man, Al Ewing, they keep giving him the unenviable assignment of like, okay, well, this deals with stuff that you're writing about, so you gotta put it into your stories. And he just keeps. They send him these, 90-mile-per-hour fastballs that a lot of writers whiff at, and he is knocking them out of the park
Yeah.
every damn time.
Amazing. And he's doing it with
Fucking,
great
like,
characters. And
yeah, Manifold is like such a fucking boss.
Brand,
Abigail
the return of
Brand, yeah,
Brand.
she is such
Yeah.
a bad bitch, and it's
Dude,
amazing.
you can see why her and Beast got together. You can see it
Yeah.
now.
I
Very
love, like,
plainly.
as much of a piece of shit as Beast is being right now, and he is being a real piece of shit. I love the moment where, like, Abigail's like, it's cute.
Yeah.
You know, you playing at being this necessary evil that you think you are, it's
Yeah.
adorable. And her actions back up that view, because, like, she's dealing with things on such a scale that it makes everything he's looking at just seem quaint by comparison.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Easily best book of the year. Dave, you have a different choice, I'm sure.
Like a Shaolin cowboy.
That's what I figured. You know, it was either this or one other book, but I figured this was it. Yeah.
Well, this just, you can't go wrong with Jeff Darrow. You know,
Nope.
he gave us for 7 months this year, he gave us this absolute visual feast of art, violence, and just beauty.
Yeah. And also social commentary.
There
Let's
was
not forget that when he does his art, you know, he drives in the social commentary. When he is doing the writing, he's saying, you know, more
his
than
social
what's on the
commentary
page.
is like, well, where's Waldo?
It really is. It really is.
But
It's
yeah,
subtle as hell.
there were those moments where you could kind of see some correlations between certain characters and such. But you know, Jeff Darrow, when he draws, it's just a feast for the eyes. And you know,
It
I
really is.
love Shaolin Cowboy since the first issues I've ever gotten my hands on, and it is just a great book.
Nice. No, it is. I had a lot of fun with it all fucking year. You're actually the one who turned me on to this character. I don't know, on the second volume series or whatever. I think this is the third or fourth.
He's been around for several years.
He's been around for a while. He wasn't always at Dark Horse either.
No, he was at
Yeah.
Burly Man for a while.
Yeah, for a long time. But just a really fun character, really great stuff from Darrow. Should do more mainstream work. You know, Juan Jose Rip was on the Wolverine book or the X-Force book this year. I want to see Darrow do something like that.
That
You
would
know
be
what I mean?
incredible. But
It would be so fucking incredible.
But I think the thing with Darrow is, you know, he might have a problem with deadlines.
Oh, I could see why. He's always putting stuff in there. You know?
Man, he seems like one of those artists where, like, you know, it'll be ready when it's ready, and
He's a chef, dude. Yeah, he's a chef. So yeah, great choices at number one. My first honorable mention, really my only honorable mention.
Good series.
A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance. One of the best times I had reading comics this year. Just so fucking good.
It was a toss up between Shaolin Cowboy or this book right here.
No, I figured. That's why I have it
first-
here. But
my
this
top
is my
series of
second
the year.
choice. I had such a good fucking time with this book this year. And that's the public domain. 8 billion genies. Do a power bomb.
Do a Power Bomb is going to be another one of my honorable mentions.
Just great books.
I am
Righteous
counting
Thirst-
down to the trade for that one.
Oh, I know. But a Righteous Thirst for Vengeance just takes it because of its approach, because of the style. It's such a well done book. And I really think that A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance will be adapted into something for the screen. It's screaming for a screen adaptation, for sure.
Human Target. I like
Human
it.
Target has been a
Target
lot
was
of fun.
solid.
It's a fun whodunit.
It's solid.
Another one I really liked this year was Grimm.
Grimm was okay. It's sort of the Grim Reaper, updated Buffy the Vampire Slayer style story.
Yeah,
for the
but
Grim Reaper.
it has really kind of come into its own now.
Yeah.
Definitely got to throw a shout out over to Tom Taylor's DC books, Superman, Son of Kal-El, and Nightwing continue.
Nightwing would definitely take it for
Yeah.
me this year. Son of Kal-El has been fantastic, but holy fuck, I didn't realize I was a fan of Nightwing.
Yeah, I mean,
until
this
Tom Taylor
book
started
made
writing
me care about Dick Grayson way more than I ever have before.
Yeah, and every part of him, his past, his future, his relationships. I want more and more and more.
We mentioned this before, but there is no way that Dick Grayson would have been like the protagonist of DC's event book this year if not for this series by Don Taylor.
100% agreed. 100% agreed, dude. Wolverine was consistent. We mentioned Immortal X-Men. Batman got way better this year with Chip Zdarsky. His one arc, his fail-safe arc. That'll continue next week, and we'll see what's going on. One other DC mention for me is Dark Knights of Steel. I had a
Yeah,
great time
I
with
mean,
that book.
again, Tom Taylor, because
Yeah.
like you give him like just a little sandbox where you just do whatever the hell you want, Tom, and like he usually spins out some amazing work when you give him that
Yeah.
setup.
For sure.
Another honorable mention for me
Yeah.
is going to be Lovesick, but we're only 3 issues into that.
Yeah,
That is
that's
a
only 3 issues in.
crazy,
Yeah.
And that
insane
book is
A lot of these ones that
nuts.
came on late in the year, I feel hesitant to put here. Like GCPD, The Blue Wall would,
Great book.
if we
Yeah,
were further into it, it would have been a pretty high consideration for me for top book
Yeah.
of the year.
Great book.
Another book I wanted to mention was Little Monsters from Jeff
Awesome
Lemire.
book. Jeff Lemire and Nguyen.
Nguyen.
Dustin Nguyen.
Yeah.
Great
They're a good
book.
team. I mean,
Oh, they are a fantastic team. Yeah, they can read each other so well, dude. Yeah, but it was a banner fucking year for comics. Events, Dark Crisis, Axe, sort of both a little lackluster. Dark Crisis has a lot more promise at the end than Axe does.
I will say that unlike you, I enjoyed Axe a lot more than Dark Crisis.
Yeah. But I think we can agree X Lives and Deaths of Wolverine was probably the best event of the year.
I have to agree with that. Yeah.
I loved the fuck out of that event.
I think it's the
So
only
well
event
done.
that I did read.
Yeah, so well done. I can't
Yeah.
think of any other event.
They shut down all the X books for 2 months. I had forgotten that was going into this year. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Anything else you guys want to talk about that were highlights or lowlights of the year? G.I. Joe Classified Toys, banner year at my house. 2023 is looking to be the same.
I do really like these G.I. Joe classified figures. I don't have many of them, but I do have a few. I would like to get a few more.
Many and I want more. Yeah.
I'm definitely wanting a Firefly.
Ooh, he's hard to find.
Yeah.
But something I don't really consider a highlight or a low light, but it's kind of a peculiarity of the year is the Morbius movie. It is genuinely fascinating, like the whole story of it coming out, bombing, being turned into a meme,
being delayed. Remember, it was delayed.
Yeah, but then like misinterpreting the memes to think, okay, they'll go see it this time, and then it bombing twice. I don't think I've ever heard of a movie bombing twice 1 year. That being said, though,
it's not bad.
It's not nearly as bad as the internet is making it out to be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's way better than Venom, I will say.
Oh, yeah. I still haven't seen fucking Venom.
Don't. It's terrible. This was better than that.
What's his name in that? Saves
Matt Smith is he is a treat in this movie.
Yes, dude.
Just the scenes where he's just like chewing the scenery. I love that part.
Oh, it's so well done, dude. So well done.
But yeah.
I wanted to.
It's not a good movie, but it's not like
not.
the unmitigated catastrophe that like the internet
Everybody
seems to
made
have
it out
deemed it to
to
be. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I wanted
Dave?
to just give a brief shout out to like the whole Masters of the Universe toy line.
Nice.
It's been at the Masterverse line.
Yeah.
That is, they kind of piggybacked on the Revelations, but they've kind of expanded it to include like the various branching, I guess we would call them realities of the Masters of the Universe now.
Yeah.
It's like it's very rare to see like
they're leaning into it.
There are like right now there are 3 different toy lines related to Masters of the Universe.
Yeah. It's nuts, dude.
It is
nuts.
Crazy. And I'd also like to just shout out despite some of my misgivings, Games Workshop has had a real banner year this year. They dropped Horus Heresy 2.0. A lot of stuff from the Forge world is making transitions to plastic kits. They dropped the Leagues of Otan.
Man, you're speaking French now.
Which, they brought back an army that disappeared 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Is what they did. And I love the fact that they are still supporting through their subsidiary Forge World, the Necromunda line, because in the last 2 months alone, there have been like a dozen previews and releases for the Necromunda game. And it's just great.
Nice. Yeah, anything else from 2022, y'all? Man, we covered so much. It was such a fucking great year.
Yeah.
Any predictions for 2023? Anything that jumps out?
No.
Hickman's got that project coming to Marvel. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to a lot of the MCU stuff, like Quantumania and Loki season 2 and things like that.
No.
I'm looking forward to the D&D movie. I'm optimistic that'll be at least a lot of fun.
It'll be better than the previous D&D.
What the hell, Dave?
You dropped a box of crayons.
I did drop a box of plastic. Yes.
Awesome, man. It's such a great year, and best to everybody out there. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for listening. You all know who you are. Again, thanks for hanging out. Please go visit the Comic Book Bullies. They got a show on at least one of these channels later on tonight. They are going to be doing their top. They do things a little bit more traditionally, where they're just list and list and list. And it's fun, dude. It's a whole lot of fun, but damn, it's a long fucking show. Go to outrightgeeker.com for links to everything they've got going on, as well as everything we've got going on. Merch, Patreon, social media.
We have a
different video
Patreon
channels. Yeah, we still got a Patreon.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/outrightgeeker. We don't use it, but
Just
we
a
got
tip.
it. Just the tip.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Just the tip.
Oh Lord.
We would love for you to go over and hang out on the Outright Geekery group on Facebook. Go to Facebook, search out.
Yeah, go hang out with Andy. He's a lot of fun.
Go hang out with Andy. A whole lot of fun. A lot of good topics of discussion. A lot of fun memes. Just trailers. All kinds of fun shit. So yeah, definitely go hang out over there and have some fun, y'all. Again, thanks for hanging out, but most of all, thanks to these jokers for hanging out with this joker.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Always
Andy,
fun.
this guy. Come back tomorrow. We're gonna do the show tomorrow. Previews. You gonna make it, Dave?
No, I got to go back to work tomorrow.
Oh, they're not giving you New Year's Day off. Well, I know today was New Year's Day, but they're making a holiday
the Monday
tomorrow.
is supposed to. Yeah.
No, I have to go back to get paid for today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna do it again next time.
Same Geek Time, same Geek Channel.